Welcome to Pharmacy NAPLEX Preparation, Coach. I'm so glad you're joining us today.
Before we begin, take a slow breath in and gently breathe out. Let your mind settle. Insulin calculations can feel kind of intimidating at first, right? But today, we're going to slow everything down, and we'll take it just one step at a time. You don't need to rush. You literally only need to understand the next step.
So here's our game plan today. We're reviewing insulin calculations commonly needed for NAPLEX-style diabetes questions. We'll hit the total daily dose, initiating basal-bolus dosing, insulin-to-carbohydrate ratios, calculating correction factors, and finally, the correction dose.
Okay, part 1, total daily dose, the anchor number. Let's dive right in and meet our newly diagnosed type 1 diabetes patient, patient MK. Now, before we can do absolutely anything else, we have to find his foundational anchor number, right? The total daily dose. The golden rule here for initiating basal-bolus insulin is multiplying 0.5 units per kilogram of body weight per day. But listen up, because here is a classic NAPLEX trap. They love to give you his height and weight to tempt you into calculating ideal body weight. No way. Do not fall for it. You must strictly use total body weight, or TBW, every single time.
All right, let's put this into practice immediately. Our guy patient MK weighs exactly 100 kilograms. So I want you to go ahead, pause the lesson, grab your calculator, and figure out his total daily dose based on that total body weight. Okay, you got it? Taking his 100 kilograms and multiplying it by our standard starting dose of 0.5 units per kilogram per day gives us exactly 50 units. Boom. This 50 is our anchor number for patient MK. Go ahead and jot that down, because we're going to be using it for literally all the rest of our calculations.
Moving right along to Section 2, initiating basal-bolus dosing, splitting the TDD.
So now that we have our 50-unit anchor, we need to mimic the body's natural pancreatic function. We do this by splitting it into a real-world daily regimen. We literally just take our 50 units and chop it straight down the middle. 50%, so 25 units, provides that steady 24-hour basal coverage. Usually you're looking at something like glargine for that. Then the remaining 50%, the other 25 units, well, that's your rapid-acting bolus insulin, and you're just going to divide that evenly among the patient's 3 daily meals.
But hold on. There is a huge exception you've got to watch out for. If a NAPLEX question specifically tells you the patient is using older insulins, and by that I mean NPH and regular insulin, you do not use that nice half-and-half rule. Nope. Instead, you've got to divide the total daily dose into 2/3 NPH insulin and 1/3 regular insulin. So always check which insulins the patient is actually using before you go splitting that dose.
All right, let's hit Section 3. Insulin-to-carbohydrate ratios, covering the meals. So here's the deal. Patients don't eat the exact same amount of carbs every single day, right? That's why we need an insulin-to-carbohydrate ratio. It tells us exactly how many grams of carbs are covered by a single unit of insulin. Now you just have to memorize these rules. There's no way around it. If the patient uses regular insulin, you use the rule of 450. Just divide 450 by the TDD. But if they use a rapid-acting insulin, like Lispro or Aspro, you switch to the rule of 500, meaning you divide 500 by the TDD.
Let's bring patient MK back into the mix. Knowing that he's on rapid-acting insulin and his TDD is 50, I want you to pause the lesson right here and calculate his exact carb ratio. You got this.
All right, let's see how you did. Because he's on rapid-acting insulin, we apply the rule of 500. We just take 500 divided by our anchor TDD of 50, and that gives us 10. What does that actually mean? It means 1 unit of rapid-acting insulin covers exactly 10 grams of carbohydrates for MK. So if he sits down to a 50-gram carb meal, he needs 5 units. See? It allows for complete total dose individualization.
Next up, Section 4, calculating correction factors, fixing the highs.
Okay, so even with absolutely perfect meal coverage, blood sugars are still going to spike sometimes. It just happens. We fix this using a correction factor, which basically tells us exactly how much a single unit of insulin will lower the patient's blood glucose. For this, we have to shift our constants. You've got to memorize the 1500 rule for regular insulin and the 1800 rule for rapid-acting insulin. You really need to keep these distinct in your brain from the 450 and 500 rules we just used for the carbs. Don't mix them up.
So let's try it out. Take a quick moment, pause the lesson, and apply the correct rule to find patient MK's correction factor. Just remember, he's using rapid-acting insulin, and his TDD is still our anchor of 50.
Let's do the math. Using the 1800 rule for rapid-acting insulin, we divide 1800 by our TDD of 50. That gives us 36. So what's the real-world takeaway? It means that giving this patient just 1 unit of rapid-acting insulin will drop his blood sugar by precisely 36 milligrams per deciliter. That is incredibly powerful clinical information for keeping our patients safe, right?
And that brings us to Section 5, the correction dose. Let's apply the math.
Let's pull this whole thing together. We know his correction factor is 36. Now, let's calculate the actual correction dose required to bring a high blood sugar back down to our target. This is a super straightforward, logical formula. You just take the patient's current blood glucose, you subtract their target, and then you divide that excess sugar difference by the correction factor we just found. Simple as that.
Okay, here's your final clinical scenario for patient MK. Let's say his current blood glucose is sitting high at 216. We want his target to be exactly 144. And, as we know, his correction factor is 36. Go ahead and pause the lesson, plug in those numbers, and calculate his required correction dose.
All right, let's walk through it together. His current glucose of 216 minus the target of 144 leaves an excess blood glucose of 72. We then take that 72, divide it by our correction factor of 36, and wow, that results in exactly 2 units. So patient MK needs a safe, clinically reasonable dose of 2 units of rapid-acting insulin to fix this high. Perfect.
Almost done. Let's look at the final patient case review, the big picture.
You know, when you look at the math broken down step by step like this, you realize you've literally just designed a complete, customized therapeutic plan right from scratch. By simply starting with his total body weight of 100 kilograms, we accurately unlocked his TDE of 50. From there, we easily established a safe 50-50 basal-bolus split, we found his mealtime carb ratio of 1 to 10, and we locked in his correction factor of 36. That one single anchor number unlocked the entire profile. How cool is that?
So just remember, finding the total daily dose is your master key. Once you have that anchor, trust your steps. Take your time, recall your constants, and I promise you'll easily master any insulin math the NAPLEX throws your way. So ask yourself, what other complex pharmacotherapy concepts might be just as simple once you find the anchor? Keep studying, keep practicing, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.